I see the way you're acting like it makes me frustrated. You crawl and you go, like, what are those words?
Is this how we're starting the episode? I guess so. Hey, welcome to Math Therapy. We're talking about songwriting.
Like, I guess we are. All right, so Why You Gotta Go and Make Things So Complicated? One of the greatest songs ever written by Avril Lavigne. Why are we talking about this? Why did I start that way? Am I starting that way? Should I start again?
Hey, it's your podcast.
Here's what's happening this week at Math Therapy, which is kind of weird, but I think will make sense to a lot of you who know me. David and I are on a songwriting retreat. In addition to him producing my podcast, we're also in a band, and we are writing a new album that we will be recording in a few months. And as the week has progressed, I have noticed more and more that the process of trying to write a hit song is basically identical to the process of trying to solve a math problem. And like all of the complicated emotions around trauma and feeling not good enough and feeling stuck and having anxiety and feeling like you need a specific outcome. And so you can no longer focus on the process. Like all of the things we talk about in math education have come up so often this week that I was like, I think we should do an episode about this because musicians and artists are notorious for hating math and having math trauma and feeling like math has nothing to do with their craft. And I find that mathematicians are notorious for thinking that creativity and like fluidity are in opposition to logical thinking and reasoning. And I think it's just so interesting because to me, being in both worlds, the worlds are so similar, and the mental processes and the emotional hurdles that we go through when we're either songwriting, doing something quote unquote creative, or solving a math problem, which is also completely creative, but we don't think of it that way. It's all the same thing. It's all the same fucking thing.
Agreed.
Now, here's the thing. You always hear people say like, but everyone knows that music is math, right? Like people will say stuff like that. Like in the math education world, if you have like a creative friend or student that's like, oh man, like I'm not interested in math. Like I just want to be a musician. Like our go-to is to say, but music is math. And I actually wonder if—
But nobody buys that.
No,
you say that all the time.
I say it all the time.
And then anyone who would disagree would be like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense.
It's true. And you guys probably know the story that's in my book, Math Therapy, about our guitarist, Eric, and how I tried that technique on him. Mm-hmm. And it did not work until it did. Whole other story we won't talk about now. Here's the thing. When people say music is math, there are so many ways in which it's math. I don't know what people are talking about because everyone's talking about a different thing. But what they are usually talking about is notes and patterns and music. They're usually talking about that. That could be a whole other episode. But today, what I actually want to talk about is how the process of writing a hit single is the exact same as the process of solving a math problem.
Whoa.
That's what I want to talk about.
Whoa.
The process.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about three key, because there is so much we could talk about.
Well, the music is math thing, I think that the reason someone who will have the initial gut reaction of I hate math, they would just not buy it because I think the narrow definition of what math is what most people are very, like everyone's got people like this, probably listeners are like this. Like I can think of people in my family or people you've talked to on the podcast that are just like math is one thing. Math is just, if it has numbers, it's math.
Yes.
So if you're saying music is math, like sure there's numbers like time signatures and stuff, but that's pretty in the weeds. So like no one who doesn't know anything about music yet is gonna know that there actually is number math, but that's the only way that they're evaluating is something math. But what you're trying to say is that actually patterns and structures.
You know what? It's true, but I'm not even saying like that. I am saying that, but that's a different conversation. I'm saying that mathematical thinking is the same as creative thinking. Like I'm saying that mathematical thinking is the same as pop sensibility. There you fucking go. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Okay. So this episode, you will elucidate how, I don't know if that's the right word, but how mathematical thinking doesn't necessarily just have to be what would traditionally be called math, and you're illustrating that through creative thinking and songwriting.
Yeah, but even now there's already a problem because
I'm doing a bad job. I was
Well,
trying
it's
to
not your
like
fault.
summarize your intro and like put
I
a
don't-
punctuation on it, and I ruined it, I guess.
You didn't ruin it. It's just I think that we're getting to the crux of the problem, which is all of these language choices. Like we're going to show how mathematical
Defining our terms.
right? Like how mathematical thinking is creative thinking. Well, yeah, those are the same thing. We're not going to show how one is the other. Like they are one and they're the same thing.
Okay, forget what I said. Maybe I'll just cut it out. But no, we're gonna
No.
keep it in. Okay, you say the next thing you were gonna say.
I think this is what I want the crux of today to be is whether or not because most people listening to this are probably not songwriters themselves. So if you listen to music, period, this episode is for you. Like if you listen to music and you hate math, this episode is for you. If you love math, but you're like, I don't really care about music that much, this episode is for you. The whole point of this episode is to show that mathematical thinking is not confined to a math classroom. And mathematical thinking doesn't mean that you have to ditch creativity. The reason this all started is because I told you guys at the beginning of this episode, probably once every 2 years, me and David go on a songwriting retreat. It's not that we won't write songs in between. We do, but mostly we save like an album cycle for the bulk of the songwriting, which means it has now been months and months and months since I've written my last song. Now, very similar to math. If you don't use it, you lose it, but it also is like riding a bike, right? So we get back into our groove here, and the first few days, I'm really struggling. I'm like, fuck, like, I can't even write a song. I don't even remember how to do it. Like, how do I even write a song? And so like, because I'm desperate and I'm like, we need to produce songs. Like we're recording this album. Like I'm feeling all the pressure. I start being like, okay, what techniques do I have? What tools do I have? What can I draw on? Like now I want you guys to keep in mind, we've been in this band for 14 years. And David can attest to the fact that I've written songs in a bajillion ways.
Yes.
I've written songs by humming a melody. I've written songs by picking up a guitar. I've written songs by picking up a piano. I've written songs by just writing a bunch of words and, and then David will take them and do something with them. There's all these ways. But in my desperation, after the first few days feeling like, oh my God, I have writer's block. I don't know how to do this anymore. I don't know how to write a song. And the pressure of being like, we need to write a song or an album with all these songs. Like albums are super expensive. Like I need to like make this worth it. I went to one of my tried, tested, and true methods, which is I get a backing track. Okay, so I'll download an instrumental track off of the internet and I will write a melody to it. I find that really the most simple thing for me sometimes. So, right, like I have this instrumental track, I'll start humming along, words will come to me, whatever.
This is called top lining in the parlance of the songwriting game.
It's called top lining. So what'll happen is I'll get this backing track, I'll write a melody to it and some words. Then I'll play it for David with or without the backing track, right? And he will write a brand new backing track. Sometimes we'll change it. We will change it completely. Sometimes it'll have a different vibe. But the point is that backing track inspires me. It gets me thinking creatively and it lets me let go of the reins because I'm not starting from scratch. It's a tool I use. Now, David, however, a few days ago, kind of frowned down upon this. Would you like to throw that in here?
Frowned down is a loaded term.
But you were kind of having a bit of an attitude about it.
I was having an attitude about it, but it was more in the context of you being insistent that that was the only way that you could write at that time. I think it's it's for sure a valid way to write songs because you've written lots of our songs that way. So I don't have any problem with it exclusively. It's just that you were, because of the state you were in and kind of the low confidence in yourself, I just was taking issue with the kind of stubbornness of, because I was just trying to help like gas you up and break you out of your funk. And I was trying to encourage you to remember you can do all of these different things, but you were like, right now, the only way I can write is such and such. That was more so.
So you didn't like that I was like being insistent that I needed this tool to write?
Kind of.
Okay.
However, I also recognize like if one is in a zone of low confidence, then it's hard to just inspire yourself to act normal. And so it is good to use a tool. I think there was just a lot of cross wires, like broken telephone between two people in the same room.
Okay, well, I don't
Yeah, this is getting in the weeds.
We don't need to get into the weeds.
You brought it up.
My point is that I wanted to use this tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at it this way, because I want us to start thinking mathematically. I wanted to use this tool, okay? The tool, in my opinion, did not hinder my creativity. It helped my creativity. It just gave me something to work with. And then the result is a great song. Regardless of how I wrote the song, the result is I wrote a great song. Now, hold on. One more thing I want to say here is a part of what you had said during that time, I know your opinion's a bit different now, but David had the stance of being like, well, I just think like, you were kind of saying like he was kind of being a purist about it, right? He's like, well, I just think like the coolest thing, like the highest level of songwriting is if you come up with something from scratch.
Sure. I think you're kind of combining a few different conversations into one, but let's roll with that. So yes, I was arguing broadly about some kinds of tools where one can rely on those tools either first or very early on before giving yourself a chance to come up with something new yourself. I think what you're trying to talk about is maybe what I was saying just about like a rhyming dictionary or a thesaurus or ChatGPT, or if you're like, let's say I want to write a song about my favorite mathematical theorems.
Okay, great.
And I was like, oh, Pythagorean theory. What's the Pythagorean?
Low floor, high ceiling.
Yeah, sure. Fermat's something, Fibonacci. And then, so we just write things down for 30 seconds and then we hit a block and then 5 seconds goes by and we're like, let's just look on ChatGPT, like suggest me some theorems that I could put into a song. So my point was more about something like that, where instead of giving yourself the time to sit with the discomfort of not knowing where to go next, and then pushing through that and then discovering somehow within yourself, maybe you have like a new idea that pops out. Maybe it takes a few minutes of like having a blank canvas and you're not sure, and then something pops to you. Giving yourself that time allows for creativity to pop out, as opposed to if you just very quickly, when you don't know the answer, immediately go to like someone else kind of suggests some answers to me. The purest part of it was that I would rather, if the end result is a smash hit about mathematical theorems, then I would rather that those had just come from our collective creativity and experience that came out as a result of the writing experience and project, as opposed to we just got AI to summarize a bunch of them and then we're taking those and like organizing them into a song. It's less creatively, artistically satisfying to me.
Okay, this is really good because you've said a lot of good things.
Phew.
You've honestly, well, a lot of things that are just it's all the conversations we're having in math education. Because first of all, it's really interesting that you ended on being like, but it would just be more satisfying to me if I had come up with it. Result versus process. That's what we're talking about. We're saying, regardless of the outcome, the process matters. Now, here's the big problem though, is it's so subjective. So what you're talking about, that idea of instead of going to the rhyming dictionary right away, right? We're writing the song about mathematical theorems for whatever reason. We spend 30 seconds just riffing on our favorite mathematical theorems. We then get stuck. We can't think of any more. We go to ChatGPT and ask for some. Versus we're writing a song about mathematical theorems and we just start without even thinking about it. We're like, chat, just suggest some. We're talking about, right? Like those two things. So what we're talking about, and this is really interesting because The Cut just wrote an article introducing a term called friction maxing. And I'm obsessed with it because the whole thing, what it's basically saying is it's made up this term, friction maxing. And what it is increasing the tolerance for inconvenience. Increasing the tolerance for inconvenience. And the example it gave was exactly what you're talking about. Like you're writing a song, you need to write an email. Instead of going to ChatGPT right away, try to spend 10, 20 minutes writing that thing that you're stuck with without ChatGPT. So I guess you're maximizing the friction. I don't know, whatever. And then you can go to the tool. So all of a sudden your window for tolerance for inconvenience becomes larger. Like you're able to sit with it more. This is exactly what we talk about when we talk about productive struggle in math class. It is the exact same thing, basically, right? It's like, great, they've made up this whole new term. I actually really like friction maxing. Kind of sounds cooler than productive struggle. Like, cool rebrand. Friction maxing. And also I like that call to action.
Sounds like a competitive sport.
Totally. Like you're getting shredded, like your brain's getting shredded. You're like, and also just the idea of like increasing the window of tolerance for inconvenience seems like actually a very practical thing to do, like inside and outside of the classroom. Like you need to do that in life. You need to increase the window of tolerance for inconvenience. And productive struggle, anyways, is the exact same thing. It's the idea of let kids struggle, because when you struggle, when you increase the window of tolerance for inconvenience, what will often happen is you will, like you said, have this moment where you're like, oh my God, wait a second, I know how to do it. Or you think you're stuck, but when you push past that, something will come up. Like you'll remember something from the past, you'll try something new. And then this leads to your last point, which is the satisfaction you get when you get an outcome that way versus just asking someone else for help or looking it up on ChatGPT. That satisfaction, it's not just satisfying, it's empowering. Because all of a sudden you have ownership over that outcome. And when
it's a real sense of accomplishment.
But not only is it a sense of accomplishment, it literally leads to more confidence the next time you're faced with a problem.
Okay.
Because now you're like, but I did that last time. This is why I think it's so important for us to be talking about outcome versus process. And math for so long has been outcome oriented. We just want the answer. Like, fucking just get the answer.
Yeah.
But when you do that, especially in today's world, we're now screwed. Because if you want to just get the answer, if that's your goal, you can do that by barely thinking at all. There's all sorts of resources you now have.
Yeah.
And same with songwriting. I just want to tie it together here of if the outcome is simply a good song. I have listened to some AI generated music that was amazing. I did not know it was AI.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have different lines. Like, to you, a rhyming dictionary is too far. To me, it's not. But writing lyrics with ChatGPT is too far for me. And AI generated music is way too far. Whereas a lot of people listening might be like, I don't care if my music is AI generated. As long as it's a good song, why would I care? So I think it's all things being equal. If the outcome is to get a good song, if the outcome is to get the right answer, if you're going to do that anyways, right? That is the expectation. Like, I'm not just fucking around with songwriting and top lining being like, well, I don't care if I get a good song. I do care if I get a good song. You know what I mean? But like, I could get a good song. I could just go to ChatGPT. Actually, ChatGPT really sucks at songwriting. But like, I could be taking all sorts of shortcuts right now. And I have to decide where the line is on what shortcuts I'm going to take. I've decided using a backing track will help me. Using a rhyming dictionary will help me. Now, I will pause and try to think of my own rhymes first. But I have no problem using a rhyming dictionary if I get stuck. Mm-hmm. But using the tool of ChatGPT to be like, hey, I want to write a song about this. Give me some, like, I want to write a song about my ex and how annoying he is. Like, list some typically annoying things exes do. That's pushing it for me. I'm not going to feel good if I get a good song that way. Mm-hmm. Same with math. It's like, you need to get the answer, right? But is it going to benefit you or the process if you get the answer by asking ChatGPT and writing it down or right? Like, or let's assume you're going to get the answer anyways. That's the goal of it. Then when do tools help and hinder that? And how do we treat the process?
Yeah. Something else that makes me think of is that furthest extension of this idea of AI music just being someone can just go into one of those apps, type in a prompt, say, make me a pop country song about mathematical theorems. And
we should do that.
And it's like, you can say with a guitar solo and with female vocals and lots of harmonies. And you just, I mean, that's even more than what people put in. But anyways, you can just type that in and then this program will just spit you out a like beautifully professionally produced sounding fabrication of a song. And the average listener
we'll have no idea.
Even me, I could listen to it and be like, wow, that sounds pretty good. But so I think that is the thing in terms of what is the point of that? Like all this AI slop, like that's filling our world. It's our mindless entertainment. But in terms of talking, if ideally education is about empowering an individual person
There it is, Dave. Wow.
feel like they can learn. Like this is it's maybe it's naive these days, but you gotta hope, you gotta pray for the world, where you want kids to go through the education system learning the things you're teaching them, but also learning how to learn and learning how to be confident in themselves that they'll be able to continue learning through the world and taking on its challenges it presents them. So this is a bit, this whole thing about being able to just manufacture very complicated things by a prompt is very concerning for everyone, because it reduces the human ability to learn things and figure things out.
This is such a tough one though, because I agree with you. You're like yes, part of the goal of education is to empower, right? Like, yes, you're trying to get answers to things, you're trying to learn content, but you're also trying to learn like the skill of what it means to learn and solve problems, right? Like of your own accord with the tools you have. But I do think there is this fine line, because it's like, what is the threshold, right? Like, for example, it's like you're saying, yeah, but Vanessa, if you just push through and you thought of your own rhymes, like you would eventually move through it. You don't need that rhyming dictionary. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I think it's important to like try to just like free, because part of the act of freeing your mind enough that you're not so focused on the outcome that you can't get to the outcome, right? Like sometimes you're thinking so hard about how to solve a problem or how to like make a chorus work, you're not going to get there. So being able to like let go a bit and let those rhymes come to you, it's good. But then I'm kind of like, yeah, if I haven't thought of the rhyme in like 30 seconds or whatever, if I'm stuck, I'll hit the rhyming dictionary. But to someone else, they might be like, no, like you're giving in too early. Like what is the threshold? I think everyone has to decide, right? It's like, and also we are living in this world now, right? Where young people have access to these tools like calculators, like ChatGPT, this and that.
Yeah.
Part of learning how to learn is learning how to use the tools at your disposal. And I actually don't think it's their fault. Like, it's like they're trying to learn how to use the tools at their disposal to get outcomes efficiently. Like they're clever in their own way, right? Because they're like, oh, you know what? I could solve this problem by putting in this prompt. Like that is a form of intelligence.
Of course.
But by doing that, they're now missing out on developing this whole other skill. Sorry, shit. They're missing out on developing this whole other skill, right? Of like,
yeah,
it's really hard, because I think it's like, who gets to decide what that threshold is? And you know, we talk about this in math. Take away like artificial intelligence. We actually not argue, but there's a lot of perspectives on this when it comes to manipulatives in mathematics, right? It's like using handheld tools, like not even electronic, right? But like arrays or blocks or like any of that kind of stuff. Like there's so many things where I think educators for a long time have split. You know, they have differing views on. Some people will say, well, manipulatives are hindering learning, right? Kids need to abstract their thinking. Like and then there will be a whole other group being like, but that's a tool they have where they can make their thinking like physical and visual. And some people need that. So it's like, I think this is very much like, when does the tool hinder and when does it help? Because for me, that rhyme dictionary, sometimes I'll be flipping through the rhymes and I'll see a word that I was not even on my mind, and it'll give me an idea for a whole other verb. I'll be like, wait a second, I could like talk about this other thing, right? But
I worry that maybe this happens every time we talk about AI, is that it like meanders and branches off into all these different tangents. So I just worry, maybe have I taken us too far off course of the theme of the episode?
No, because this is now the theme. Like because it all kind of weaves in, like the idea of,
because initially you were saying, how is mathematical thinking similar to creative songwriting thinking?
Right. I don't know. I think the part about like AI music, I just don't know how many people listening to this. I'm very curious.
Maybe people don't even know about it.
Well, know about it, or like, I'm actually curious, and I want you guys to text the podcast if you care. Would you care if a song you were listening to, if you were like jamming to the song, you were like, I fucking love this tune, and you checked and it turned out the song was entirely written by AI. There was no humans on it. The vocals are not human. Like, would you care? Would it make you like the song less?
Yes, but in the context of this question, it's challenging, because that's a question from the consumer perspective. Like, we're talking about in terms of a student learning math. We're talking about how the shortcut that it takes to make something or to get to an end result the question of someone appreciating a song as a listener differently if they know that it was made by a human versus by AI is a totally different question.
But I actually think it's not, because I
okay.
think teachers need to ask themselves that. I think policymakers need to ask themselves that. I think administrators need to ask themselves that.
But
about math, do you
like, do you care if your student gets the right answer, but through no real critical thinking, just through basically like outsourcing?
Yeah. Do you care? And if you do care,
Yeah.
then we need to be asking again, as we keep asking, what is the purpose of math class? What are we really trying to get? And is the means and the medium actually getting us there? And if you don't care, like, no judgment either way. Like, I'm actually just very curious, because you will hear these conversations being like, no, like, students have to get the right answer, and we just really care about outcome, but also they have to show their work. But usually the show their work is like to make sure they're not cheating or they're doing something the way we told them to. But often, like, here's my question to you. Do you care if your student got the right answer? They used the algorithm you taught them. They followed the steps you told them. So they didn't outsource it. They actually did that, but they actually have no idea what it means and how they got there. Do you care or do you not care? Like, I just think it's a good question, because I actually think it's quite similar. It's like, how much—
are they gaining a deep understanding of what's going on, or are they just getting the answer by following some memorized steps?
Well, and let me take it a step further, actually. Here we go. This is gonna tie it into the music question about whether or not you guys who are listening care about whether your music is AI generated. Okay, this will tie it together. There's a lot of people saying math skills are decreasing, like kids don't know what they used to know. We should go back to teaching math the old way. And one of the arguments against that is, okay, fine, cool, we could, but so many adults we know today hate math, okay? They hate math, but they do know their times tables. Some of them. More than, like, allegedly, okay? Allegedly. So my question is, do you care if your students get the answer, they did it, they followed the thing, they whatever, they know their times tables, but they hate math? Do we care that they emotionally don't feel great about math, but they know how to do it? And I think that ties into the AI song thing, because it's like, do you care— I'm really trying to tie it together. Do you care that there's no emotion or confidence or growth or like anything around the music you're listening to?
Humanity.
That's the humanity. That's it. Because to me, I'm like, that's where I draw the line. I'm like, I feel like if I knew this song I was listening to and I was like, oh man, I'm feeling it. And I realized it was just empty. I don't know.
Like, AI just made this thing because it's built to predict what a human would make based on what humans have made. This whole conversation is very complex and esoteric and in the weeds and very philosophical. So it is interesting, because that is an interesting question. Do you care if, does a student feeling good about math, liking math, does that mean that they understand it? Does it matter? Is a good relationship to math linked to understanding? This is what's more common in a lot of your conversations on the podcast. What is the connection between a satisfaction with mastery of the deep fundamentals of what you're learning compared to just being like, there's also satisfaction in like, okay, I memorized what theorem, what equation to use when.
Yeah.
I don't really understand it, but I can be satisfied by knowing I got the right answer because I did the thing correctly, even if I don't understand.
That is satisfying. That can be good. Too. And that's again, this goes back to start. This is hard.
But you're still problem solving on your own accord based on what you have learned. So everyone learns differently. Everyone's got different strengths and weaknesses. What I think with the music thing, I remember when just image generation first spread out all over social media, and then you've got people who are posting these things and essentially calling themselves artists. There's all these people who are very adamant about AI art is the same as human art. And we don't have time to get into all of the issues around that. But
35 minutes.
That's what happens when we talk about AI. But so the idea of someone, if you compare someone not having any musical training or knowledge or understanding of how music works, but you just type into a program, give me a song, and it spits out a song, and then you
You're a
say,
musician.
"Oh, I made this thing."
Oof.
You didn't make it, and then here's the other thing: is the satisfaction of that will be so fleeting.
So fleeting.
Whereas,
it's not gonna feel good.
Where it's just, oh, I made this thing, but you're not gonna go perform it at an open mic. You're not going to go start a band and tour it and record it. Well, it's already recorded. But if you make a song and you're like, this song is part of me and I externalized it and it's something I've made that I am proud of and means something to me, that's so different. And I do think that even on a subconscious soul, whatever level, people can sense the difference between that.
Ooh, that's deep. There's so much.
But probably not on a conscious level.
Not on a conscious, but on a soul level, and I think it will matter. Like I think we're going too far into this.
We've been.
This is really. I really want to talk about so much more because the episode started with
part 2.
Well, do you guys want a part 2? Like, is this too much? Like, I feel like we're really
I can't answer right now.
Can you guys text us because what I want? This started with how is mathematical thinking the same as pop sensibility? Part of it is this, right? Part of it is everything we're talking about, but there's a whole other part, which is about the formulaic nature of writing a song and how...
Yeah, that's the whole point we were going to talk about is there actually is so much math. We didn't even talk about Amy Allen.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Amy. Here's what we do.
What?
As a cliffhanger, we play that clip right now and then say, do you guys want a part 2 where we talk about this clip?
Yeah, but since we've got everything set up, we should just do part 2 after
I have a phone call. But here's the thing. I have a phone call with Jamie Mitchell, and I actually think we should call him because he is an amazing math educator who loves AI. His whole thing is AI.
Well, let's
call him live.
No. That's going to be a sonic mess, but just get him on the podcast down the road.
Okay, fine. Okay, so I think, but how am I going to play the clip? Oh, you're going to just insert the clip.
Well, we don't have to play the clip. We can just, you want to play the clip.
I think we should play the clip. Okay, so hold on.
Well, here, pull it up.
We have to end this episode.
We have to end the episode.
But I hope we talked about something.
We talked about, we've been talking a lot. So
I think the focus of this episode, to be honest, was a little more on tools and like when do tools help and hinder? Because even what you're saying at the end there about being like, well, we're all problem solving in our own ways. Like if you've memorized formulas and you're trying to figure out what formulas to use when, that is mathematical thinking. You're problem solving. And I do feel like when I'm writing a song, I'm drawing on all these things. It's like, first I do a thing, maybe I have a top line. So I'm top lining something. I've made all those lyrics myself. Maybe then I get stuck on a chorus. So then I ask you to help me. So now you've helped me. That's not my own thinking, but that spurs something in me. Then you say something and I need a rhyme. So then I look at the rhyming dictionary.
Yeah.
That's another tool that I'm using.
Yeah.
Then I get stuck on something. So I listen to a bunch of songs I already know to see to get some melodies in my head that I got inspired by that. So then I write something else. And it's like in all of these, none of these are pure thought free from influence.
Absolutely. And it is a question of to what extent should we be reliant on tools versus at what point are we the tool?
Do you mean
I said that because I knew it would sound cool, but it doesn't mean anything. But
no. I think it's good.
No, I think at what point are we overly relying on tools to our own detriment versus how can we make sure to be responsibly using all of these tools while still
to move us forward instead of hold us back.
While still accomplishing, being productive and growing as people, because that's what I do worry about, like society in general, but then also for education, especially students, because students are growing up in this world.
They're so screwed. I feel so bad for them.
Like we know a time where we only could rely on our own, there was no option. I mean, you could get someone to write an essay for you, or you could like copy someone else's test, but you can't. Yeah, the idea that any student, no teacher can know how. Okay, we have to stop. We have to stop. This is how
we are stopping this. We started by saying by claiming mathematical thinking is the same as pop sensibility. I had 3 points. The first was the role of tools in songwriting. This idea of friction maxing, productive struggle. When do tools hinder more than help, because when you ask any songwriter, they have a whole bunch of everything we're talking about right now. They use one another. They collaborate. I want you guys, the point is, I had two other points, which was the rule of creativity, and point number 3 was the rule of math and what we think math is in both of these things. We are going to save those.
Sure.
Here's what I want you guys to do. I've got some homework for you. Number 1, I want you to go to one of your favorite songs. I want you to look it up on Spotify if you use Spotify. Sorry to promote them. You can use any platform. I just know how it works in Spotify, where you can find the song credits. Okay. And I want you to go to the song credits for any of your favorite songs. And I want you to go look at how many people created that song. Go to the songwriters and see. You are going to find that almost any song out there that you're like, oh man, so-and-so wrote this, they didn't write it. They wrote it along with a team of people. Using that as a tool. Collaboration is a tool. Other people are tools. So I want you to go look at that right now, because I think you're going to be shocked, because again, we don't have time to talk about this now, but collaboration, a thing that we are now trying to promote in math class, because so many other countries and societies use collaboration as a tool. We've looked at it as a solo sport. In songwriting, the same thing. You get a better product when more minds work at it, but that is a tool. So I want you to go look at that. Second thing I want you to do, I told you guys to look up our band, Goodnight Sunrise. I want you to look up
how many songwriters there were.
No, I want you to go look up the Velvet Sundown.
Oh.
Okay, do not confuse the two. Velvet Sundown is an AI band. I want you guys to go listen to them and check them out and tell me if you can tell that they are not real, because I could not tell. Then go listen to our band, Goodnight Sunrise. Okay, number 3, text us and tell us if you want to hear the rest of how mathematical thinking is like pop sensibility, because I do have a lot more to say. I do worry that this is a bit in the weeds, but we're here now.
We're really going to rely on texts to tell us if we could do this or not?
Yeah, I think we just record the episode.
Really pick our call-outs.
Well, I think we need to know.
Fine.
Just send us a text. You can find the number in the show notes of whatever podcast
Let us
you're listening
know if
to.
this was any good and if I should not be on episodes.
No. Okay. And tell us what your favorite song is.
Did you want to play you tell us?
Tell us what your
favorite song.
Do this.
Yeah, tell us what your favorite song is, and look up who are the songwriters and what the songwriting splits in the publishing.
No, don't look that up. But honestly, look up. Tell us what your favorite song is.
Let us know what key the song is.
No, tell us what your favorite song is and how many songwriters there were on it.
Is there a modulation?
Because this will actually help for the next episode if people want, when we can dissect some of these songs and talk about the pop sensibility and how it's like math. We have to go.
It's your podcast.
Fuck.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Oh my God.
Chaos.
That was actually chaotic. Let me call Jamie, because honestly, like, I'm so late to call him. Let's just see if he wants to say anything. Oh no, we were supposed to play that clip as the cliffhanger.
Fine. Okay, now we're going to play the clip of the cliffhanger that we didn't actually reference or talk about in the show at all. However, this is the reason Vanessa even wanted to talk about it, because I listened to this episode and I thought it was great, and I told her to listen to it because it would help her, and it took her 5 days and she finally did.
Explain who Amy Allen is.
Amy Allen is a highly accomplished songwriter who's co-written songs for
Harry
Styles, all sorts of, I mean, those are two of the biggest hit Sabrina Carpenter. And so, yes, she was on a podcast called Switched on Pop, which I'm a big fan of.
Here we go.
And here we go. Okay, wow. But then you're going to...
Just listen to this clip.
How many songs were you writing that year?
I'm really bad at math. That's why I got into songwriting. But I don't know, too many.
Okay, and there's another clip. One more, okay?
The chuckles in the audience.
Yeah,
everyone, the knowing chuckles. Ha ha ha. We all hate math too.
Here we go.
No pre-chorus.
No pre-chorus.
Right to the chase.
I mean, on one level, it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of rolling eighth notes.
Mm-hmm.
Simple pentatonic melody.
Oh, no, we're getting into math.
Oh, sorry.
I'm kidding.
But the phrasing...
Hear everyone laughing?
Accent.
Sounds like Amy Allen has math trauma.
I think we should get her on the pod.
Get her on the pod. We have to end this episode. Goodbye.
Text
Vanessa.
us. Love you. Bye. Okay, let me call Jamie.
Should I record you and Jamie
Let's just
talking?
see what he says. Let's just quickly see if this works. I'm late. Jamie,
Hey, girl.
you're on the podcast. We're going to try and just put you're on the mic. I'm so sorry to do this.
So close to the mic. Give me this.
I didn't agree to a podcast.
I know, and you're not going to really be on it, but we're just going to record this in case it works. Because the reason I was late is we just did a whole episode that really went off the rails. It was supposed to be about how, because we're rewriting our album, it was going to be about how pop sensibility is the same as mathematical thinking. But we've been talking a lot about how AI music, like, even though the outcome of an AI generated song is a great song, we don't like it. And then I had this call with you, and then I'm really not explaining well. David is shaking his head at me, but then I was like, this is exactly like math. Like, it's like, even if the outcome is the right answer, if you just asked AI to get it, like, we wouldn't like it. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm late for my call with Jamie. We should just get his opinion because he loves AI so much.
I do. You want my opinion now?
Kind of like just a brief.
I cautioned against this, just so you know. I didn't think that suddenly putting you on the spot on a phone call was the best way to discuss on a podcast. But hey.
Sorry, this is David.
Yes, hello. She's like, does he even know? I don't even know. Who is this? Where are we? What is happening? Hello, I'm David.
I'm Jamie. I do enjoy being put on the spot for spicy hot takes.
See?
All right, well.
Yeah.
Well, we're recording.
You didn't know that about me. So, okay, what do I think about AI generated music and AI generated math?
Yeah, like the idea is that the outcome is the same. Like, a great song is a great song. Why?
Yeah, I think it depends on like what the intent of the person who's asking the content to be created is, right? Like, I could be great at writing lyrics and I might not have anyone who can write music for me. So if I write a beautiful set of lyrics and then I ask AI to set it to music, I personally don't fundamentally think that's a bad thing. That is like a proof of concept to me. Do you know what I mean?
Wow, keep going.
Okay, so I think it's the same. It would be the same for me for math. If I don't know, let's say I'm trying to make a simulation for a game to collect some data to do like a project, but I don't know how to code up this in computer code or in a spreadsheet, but I'm still interested in it. I'm still engaged in it. If I can tell the AI what I want it to do and know enough to evaluate if it did it properly, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially if I'm using that to go deeper with math. The flip side of that is if I'm just like, AI, write me a song, and I don't give any thought to it, I don't put any of my own creativity or my spark into it, and it just pumps out this soulless piece of music. Like, I think those are two different things.
So I guess the question is, who's right? Like, do we have different thresholds? Because, like, I don't know, David, do you agree with him with that song thing? Because you guys are the polar opposite. Like, David hates AI. Like, he hates when I even use like a rhyming dictionary. Like, he's like very concerned about AI.
Well, there's lots of different layers with songwriting. So the idea that if you wrote all of the words, all the lyrics, then yes, for sure, that's an original creation from you. But then putting those lyrics then as just text prompt into a song creator, if you don't have musical ability, then it would be better for you to collaborate with other humans who do have those complementary skills and then make an original piece of music that way, as opposed to just having a program or an algorithm do all of the other stuff yourself for you. I'm not explaining very well, but
No. I totally understand what you're saying, and I don't think I disagree with you. I think I think humans are important, especially when it comes to creative arts, right? And I think math is a creative art. But when I think about the students that I work with, they don't necessarily have access to people that can play an instrument, but they might be very creative with their lyrics. And for some kids, that would be the end of the road, right? Like, they're self-conscious. They don't want to put themselves out there. They write these things and they go nowhere. Or if they can at least make something musical to help them see their vision, which gives them a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I guess the other thing is
what about people who write with beats or like loops, like all that?
Yep. Yeah, yes, and that's why I'm not like a Puritan about it. It is a preference for me, and I do think I am also often speaking philosophically and thinking of a worst case scenario in terms of like, is humanity going to over time rob itself of our inherent creativity if we keep sort of outsourcing it? Because then another, like, a devil's advocate thing could be, so, and totally fair about access to things, and like privilege can enter into it, because yes, what if someone cannot afford a guitar? But if like someone can get their hands on a guitar, let's assume even a piece of crap guitar, then if you can come up with some ideas for a song or some lyrics or melody, and then just shortcut by saying, hey, write me a guitar-based song with these lyrics, and then you're like, okay, I wrote a song. If this is something that's important to you and you're passionate about, would you then be like, well, I guess I should like learn how to play guitar? And then maybe learning how to play guitar over the course of years would be something that you've developed and feel proud of and allows you to express yourself. Like, that's, I guess, what my kind of concern is. Like, all things being equal, let's say, if we become too reliant on these easy shortcuts to get to something, then does it rob us of abilities to discover new things about ourselves?
Mm-hmm. This has been my work for the past year and a half, is working with teachers to get them over the fear of AI, right? Like, it's not going anywhere. It's a reality we have to deal with. So what can we do to convince students of the exact thing you're saying, right? Like, it is a tool that can suck all the soul out of everything we do if it's used poorly. In its worst case, that's what's going to happen. But, there are also examples of students who've used it as a brainstorming partner, like a thinking buddy, and have enriched their own understanding of material just by having that extra outlet.
Okay, so I think we should just do a full episode on this at some point with you, obviously.
I'm game.
Okay, great. I guess we should end this. We should have
like a job interview.
Yeah, it's like you passed the test.
Okay. You can be on the podcast.
Okay, we're ending this episode.
Is this conversation actually going on the podcast?
Sure, yeah. Okay, bye, Jamie. See, look, I'll say bye to Jamie.
Okay, great.
Bye, but don't hang up. Bye. Bye, Jamie.
Bye, Jamie. Bye, Vanessa. Bye. This is just like every other episode ending.
Okay. Okay, now over to me and Jamie. So sorry about that.